listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality.
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
Goof On Radio.
You were either in or you were either out, brother.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Goof On Radio.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You're listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
All right. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. I'm your host, Rich Giordano. It is Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. How are you? Man, what a couple of days. I gotta say, that was the most fun I think we've had here at Goof On in a very, very long time. I can't thank you enough for coming here and hanging out and supporting Goof On the way you did the last few nights. It was unreal. 10,000, 9,300 or 400 people were here. I almost lost a lung. Right there. It was crazy. It was insane. It was electric. I don't know. It didn't feel any different. I got to tell you, when I posted the show the other night for News Nation and there were 4,500 people waiting before the show started, I knew something was up. I knew when there were 40 people waiting 8 hours before the show, I was like, that's a lot of people. Usually it's 3, 10, sometimes 15. Tonight it was a little higher. But the subs came in. Because when you have 9,400 people here, you're going to get subscribers, right? I've been accused of buying subs. Me, of all people, buying subs. The haters are having a field day. There's no way that could have happened. That's impossible. It doesn't show up. I'm looking at the analytics. Don't make sense because the analytics haven't come in yet 100%. But 80,000 views. It is now, I think, the largest viewing video we had. So it was crazy, though. They're having a field day saying I bought subs. I don't think they realized there were 4,000 people here before the show started. I don't think they get that. And of course, I'm in the chat room going, hey, you know, and you want to know why? And I helped myself. I was telling people, hey, don't forget to sub to the show, sub to Goof On. they couldn't get News Nation in the UK unless they subscribe. People didn't want to subscribe. And I did cancel my Hulu. Yeah, I wasn't going to pay $70. Hulu, Disney, and something else. I don't need that package. But I find it very funny to see the people out there saying that I bought the subs. Of course, they're going to say it. Because that's what I see happening on Spaced Out Radio, Unidentified S4. I'm pretty sure Scambian's been doing it because, come on, really? Things don't make sense when your live shows only have 50 people and you say you have 9,000 subscribers. Something's wrong there in the picture. Yeah. But that's the haters doing what they do. And we're going to, who cares? We just keep going. I don't know why it happened. I'm grateful it happened last night. We had about 720 people stayed here most of the night. That was really interesting. That's what I expected the night before. 400. Anyway, thank you for your support. That was a lot of fun. And I got it. Here's a good one. Toby Mickle? Is it Michael? $2. Thank you for the support. Says, will Von Helton be back on the panel today? No, nobody's going to be on the panel today. But thank you for asking, Toby. Thanks for the $2 super chat. And for those of you who don't know, we are supported by the subscribers here and the people who are just passing by means of super chat, super sticker, PayPal, Cash App. All the links are in the show description. You can help support us too. I mean, we're doing truthology for ufology here like nobody's business, Toby. I don't know if you noticed, but we're a lot different than the other shows. And the reason I say that, I was just watching Jared Leto's show. I didn't realize he was that far into believing all of this stuff. He believes it. And I just watched him swearing at the government. How dare you? Your government's going to lie to you. I mean, this is a guy who worked for the government, and he's telling them it's time. You guys, David Grush just said that these are alien beings. Why are you hiding it from us? This is embarrassing. He's going off, and I'm like, dude, we know. We've done that already. We've been down that road. And that's my frustration with this whole thing is we've heard all of these stories before. Shane Reed throwing down a $6 super chat. Rich, and thank you, Shane. You are the secret ingredient. Congrats. Well, thank you, Shane. A good friend of the show, a continuing supporter. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what secret ingredient I am, but I think it's truth. Look, I've listened to Jared Leto before, but not like today. Today was different. He was really on another level. Thank you, Shane. Mucho gusto, generoso, my friend. The hell is this? What the hell is this? Handsome? How dare you? No, I'm joking. What's up, Alien Girl? Alien Girl throwing it down every morning at 7 a.m. right here on the tube. Let's do a little roll call then. What's up, Alien Girl? Welcome to the show. Lisa M. giving the thumbs up. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Helen, how you doing? Oh, you're on your horse. I don't know if I've seen that. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Intergalactic Angler. Hurry up and wait. That's what this felt like. And yesterday with Greer's thing. True Cyborg, welcome to the show. Glenn Collins, the show welcomes you. Vitska, how you doing? Unknown sender, what'd he be? Bebop lady, welcome to the show. I know you're listening. David Wilcox, not Wilcock, welcome. Michelle, what do you say? Whoa, it jumped on me. Hold on, I lost the whole thing just jumped. Google just went off in the other room. Everything just got blown out of proportion here. David Wilcox, not Wilcox, welcome to the show. Monster Hunter Player 2, Goofon, you got Riz. I've got Riz? What's Riz? I've heard I've got Raz, I've got Ruz, I've got even a little Ruse, but Riz? My house is clean. This house is clean. Didn't she say this house is clear in Poltergeist? This house is clear. Or is it clean? I don't remember the end. I'm going to pull that up. This house is clear because she cleared the poltergeist, or is it clean? Because they both work. My house is clean. Look what you've done. You've brought up, just by being here, you got a conversation started, and I love it. Love wins. Welcome to the show. Mr. DB Cooper 77. Welcome to Z-Mog. Welcome to the show. Every time the government brings up UFOs, you be assured we are being trolled. See, and that's the opposite what I saw on Leto's show. He believes, no. He was ripped. Yeah, no, we are being trolled. I guess I'm confused. Hold on. Yeah, every time the government talks about UFOs, they're not really talking about UFOs. That's the joke of it all. That's the joke of it all. Lou says, use the force, Groosh. Can mean anything in their conversation. I don't know. But you can see the face. Force this, little Louie. I got your little Louie force right here. Even Grush had to be saying to himself, am I gullible? But I'm hearing it from everybody that I never thought I should hear these things from. See, what he said is important, Z-Mog. Dan Bob, welcome to the show. But it's hearsay, and that bothers me. Ben, the Orkshugafonian, throwing down a £2, £2. Richie tells the truth. They can't change that. Damn right they can't. They want to take us down. Or do they? All I know is when the government is talking about UFOs, we are being trolled. It's true. I'm not even half joking. Why do I feel like that after this week? I was hoping Greer had a couple of people that were going to show us evidence, because I kept hearing there are these other two whistleblowers that are supposed to be coming out. Obviously, it wasn't for the Greer thing, but it's part of the Grush thing, the part of the government, because you got to remember, Greer's not government. And do you know how expensive it is to do what he's doing? And people get mad at that guy. I got to do a show or a segment because Dorothy told me, maybe you should talk about how expensive this shit is, because people get on Greer for asking for donations. He gets donations, guys. Like, people donate to his cause. People who believe in him. He's not stealing money, as people say. He's just really good at what he does. And for some reason, he can get these whistleblowers. He must have some clout somewhere in this community, not only in the community, with the government. Look at the people that he's dealing with. These aren't just some schlubs these are real people who have been in the military, who have seen things firsthand, not secondhand, not hearsay. What? Real visual documentation, paper trail. You can find out who these people are. They showed their faces. Grush hasn't given us that. They're using Grush. Like, what do they call that? You know, when they want to break into the castle, it is they just ram it in there. Well, that's what this is. That's what we just had. He's that ram horse, that troll. He's that big horse that comes, that ramming horse. What do they call those things? Anyway, Ben, thank you very much. Appreciate it. They can't change the truth out of me. Ben's a continuing supporter for a while. Thank you. Battering ram. Jesus. I just remembered. That's what he did. He's opening the door. Hear me out. I know the door's already been opened. I get it. But this is supposed to be their way of showing us how the whistleblower thing is going to work. That's what this was. It was a demonstration, really. It was an introduction to a more serious, even though it was hearsay, a lot of stuff was said. Even though it was hearsay, some pretty big claims going on here. Interdimensional beings, they're here. There's different ones. Over 100 crashes. My God, it's got it all. There isn't one thing they left out except for his own personal experience. The only thing that we need is to see a little bit of what somebody said they saw. And it's not easy to get the evidence, and it is easy for them to lie. And yes, they are keeping it a secret by doing stuff like this. What do you think's going to happen? Do you really think disclosure's coming? Because I'm thinking that might be a possibility. But that scares the hell out of me. Jeanette, thank you very much, and I'll tell you why. Jeanette, that is a super dono. Beautiful right at the beginning of the show. You are the angel of goof on my shoulder. A $10, 10 pounder, or 10 quid. Super dono. Gotta love you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Mucho gusto, generoso. Every night. It's unbelievable. Thank you. Jeanette. Man. What was I saying? What was I supposed to say? Hold on. I don't know what I was supposed to say. Hold on. Let me rewind it. I'm going to rewind what I said. What was I talking about? Hold on. What did I say? Oh, disclosure's coming. Okay. All right. It might be a problem, I said. Okay. I had to check. I couldn't remember. That's how bad it's been. Short-term memory loss. Bing! Bam! All right. So I believe if disclosure is coming, this is a very serious conversation we're going to have now. So I'm not even in the mood to joke around. Seriously. No, seriously. I got to let people know I'm not joking because nobody can ever tell. But seriously, if disclosure is coming, it scares me. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm always afraid that if they're going to tell us everything, there's an extinction level event to wipe us all out right after. So why not tell us? Did you ever think of that? Like, yeah, they're going to tell us slowly. Maybe we've got a couple of years. But there's an asteroid maybe they found that's coming maybe within a year or two, and they can use this as a distraction. I don't know. But what if it's real? You know what I mean? We can't always say everything is fake. It's just not logical. And we know UFOs are real. All of us here know that. There's no question about whether they're real or not. Yes, they're real. So is the cover-up. That's real too. And Grush gave us some information that you can scoff at, like I did, and say, where's the evidence? Show me the evidence. We're ready for it. But you know who isn't? Them. Them. They're not sure how to do it. So what they keep doing, they keep giving us the reboot of Superman. It's a new director, somebody new in charge, going to make it a little better, give a little nicer shine to it, more high def, maybe in 3D. Will make it so real, people won't be able to tell the difference. And what they're doing is they're making it like the Superman reboot. They're going to keep telling us stuff, and it's going to be the same stuff over because they want it to sink in. It hasn't. It's not even trending. 48 hours after after the News Nation thing, it wasn't even trending on Twitter in the top 10. Yesterday, Greer's thing, it's not even trending on Twitter on top 5. You'd think people would be number 1. It's not what it used to be. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because we've heard the same song and dance. We've seen 4 Superman reboots in the last 5 years. We need another chapter to happen, and that chapter is evidence. And I'm talking real evidence, like high-def picture, something, anything, maybe a glimpse of an alien's back or head, or, I need something at this point. For me, going on 20 years in this field, I know a couple of you a lot longer than me, it gets a little frustrating and you feel like it's never going to happen. And that's why you hear me say disclosure is never going to happen, because they're not prepared for what the public is going to do. They have no idea. But I tell you what, the public would be ready to see: aliens. Scratch it, erase that. You know what people are ready to see? The UFOs up close. Not blurry, not FLIR, not night vision, not bokeh, whatever you call it. That's got to be the next thing. All right. I want to see that video, or the one that Lou talked about where it was only 50 feet in front of the craft. You know, that one that Lou keeps bragging on about, or did at one time, right up to the pilot's windshield. 27-minute video, 7 minutes, whatever rumor you want to go with. I want that video. I want to see that one. I want to see the video where it came out of the ocean and hovered, and then it shot straight up. I want to see that one. They can't keep giving us Superman reboots, guys, because you're going to get what we're having today. The public's not interested. Sad. They were very interested on Sunday with News Nation and that show. People are very hungry for it. But they're not so hungry that they were excited about what they saw and kept talking about it. Everybody was mildly disappointed to very disappointed. It's like 30% of people really bought into it. It's kind of what I see. Not even 50%. It's less than that. Not a lot of people liked what happened, but the people who saw it and liked what happened loved what happened. I'm mild. I'm in the middle. I like that it happened, but I wanted more. And not everybody knows everything, because sources that I thought it's not the Cousins brothers, but other sources that I have relationship with, people said there's going to be evidence. There was pictures. They showed us Michael Schratt's drawings, which are by far the best in the biz, but hey, that wasn't evidence. That's hearsay evidence for drawings, a picture. That's what we saw. We got hearsay again yesterday on Gray's thing with pictures. We had hearsay drawings. We had, I don't know what you would call it. Hear drawings? Drawing say? I don't know. But I'm like, they're showing pictures. I thought we were going to see some real stuff. And I waited and I waited and I waited. And that, man, yesterday just went an hour too long with Greer. Yeah, he loves hearing himself talk, but who doesn't? Guilty as charged. I try not to talk too much. So I'm going to have to show you what's been going on. I had a lot of stuff to do today, so let me pull this one thing up. All right, Green Street. He says, honestly, I feel bad for David Grush. I believe that he believes in the people who told him stories about aliens. And we're going to talk about everything else after. But we know for a fact that some of those people are deceitful. See? Selfish and manipulate. I just feel really bad for him, he says. Seems like a nice guy. Hey, Grush does. That's why I haven't been too hard on the guy. It's not him. Yeah, he's out there, but he is the next, maybe the next Lou. I don't know if he can pull it off, but I think he can once he gets his feet a little more wet and he gets used to talking to people and dealing with a lot of negativity. That's one thing that Lou was not prepared for. Lou did not understand how people can be on Twitter, all over, Facebook, YouTube. He didn't expect to be attacked. He thought he was going to be loved. I'm the disclosure guy, but he wasn't. Lou never said he was about, he actually said, I'm not about disclosure. His words. All right, what do I got here? Brian Bender says he is also a close ally of Elizondo, which is important context. I think so. In fact, I would even say Lou groomed him a bit for several years is what he's saying. Now that I know that, yeah, well, obviously. But, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Because it wasn't I almost said wasn't intentional. This was intentional. But I still don't like that it went the way it did. I'm not a big fan of how things went down. A lot of people weren't. Let me pull this up and show you. Yeah, news, like 36 hours after the exclusive interview, the UFO whistleblower story no longer appeared on News Nation's homepage even. They're just stories about Trump and border crossings and more important, than aliens are on Earth and murdering people, I guess. Maybe the Men in Black shut it down. His words, not mine. What if they did? Do you think that still happens? The Men in Black? You think those type of... Because back in the day, they didn't have cameras everywhere, and you could go around in a suit with glasses and a top hat. Everybody had them back then. You can get away with it. Now they just look like you and me. I don't think you'll know. They look like Lou. They do. They look like a regular dude. Wow, I've got so much to go over. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of this out. Oh, okay, yesterday, I'll flip back. Let's go to Greer's thing. I want to play this. If there's a clip, there better be. Yeah, good. Yeah, this will create a conversation. But do you remember yesterday there was that the middle speaker, that he was kind of a big guy. His name was Herrera. Here, let me show you. I was going to go over clips and everything, but I didn't think we need to. I didn't think we'd need to do that today. Just short ones. We all know what he said. Uh-oh. Everything froze. Still going on. Everybody's still talking about it. Let's see what he says. Because here, the Osiris person tweeted, this is but one of the many, many issues with Herrera's testimony at Greer's press conference. So many things in his statement that any combat veteran would key in on, but civilians and most politicians wouldn't. Oh, I remember. Okay, let's see what this is.
We are able to get eyes on pretty much everything, especially.
Is that a Masonic pin? Oh my God, I didn't see this. I didn't even notice it. He's got a Masonic pin. Oh, it's all making sense. Look at it. You know, I thought my dad had one. I gotta ask my father if he has one. I could have sworn I seen one on my dad's dresser when I was a kid.
Able to get eyes on pretty much everything, especially with 6 Marines. So we have the effective communication at that point. We have the effective communication at that point. We have the effective communication at that point. And we decided to go down. We didn't have any communications, which was weird, and that was very odd. And we decided to go down. We didn't have any communications, which was weird, and that was very odd. And we decided to go down. We didn't have any communications, which was weird, and that was very odd. We have the effective communication at that point. And we just.
I didn't think anything he said was hard to figure out. Common sense tells you what he's meaning. Although interesting, right? ARV, illegal drug/weapons unloading. Did you see this? That's right. Secretly smuggling drugs in UFOs. That's right. I know. That's what Greer was breaking, man. 2009, Western Indonesia. But do we have any pictures of the actual? No. Just drawings. That's okay. It's just a story and it's a good one. That's all that matters. And that's another thing I keep hearing. And it's unacceptable at this point. They're having a conversation. Why do you get on Corbell so hard, Rich? He's creating a conversation. And then it hit me. I realized at that point that I know and figured out what Greer and Knapp are doing. I think I'm the only one. I think I figured out how they're keeping themselves out of hot water by bringing up all of these so-called military sightings and with video and all this stuff. Because they're not really UFOs. You can make up any story. You can talk about anything you want. You want to talk about it, Jeremy? Go ahead and make it up. We know they're flares. Yeah, you'll never be able to prove it. What about this pyramid thing? Can I have that video? I could use that and call it a pyramid structure flying through the sky. Can't get in trouble for that. And what about the radar, the swarm? Maneuvers that are unimaginable, and we see 2 to 3 little blips and barely 100 miles an hour because that's not the actual radar. Don't you see? Everything Jeremy is doing probably really happened, but all he's doing is giving us examples so he doesn't get in trouble for using the real stuff. And that's not right. But that's why Jeremy always says the conversation is important. We're creating this conversation that has never existed before. Yes, based on your so-called lies, hearsay. I'm not sure what to believe with this guy. Is the actual story real, but the video isn't? But you're using this video because it can play in the story. That's what he's doing. Everything Jeremy talks about probably is real, but everything shows us. That's interesting, because I believe Jeremy Corbell believes he's doing the right thing. Nobody can go this long for that long and keep a straight face. But I had to throw that in there tonight because I forgot to talk about that, and it's been a few days. But doesn't it make sense? It's the same thing the hoaxer Fat Fuck Tony did. He said he took a video of this thing, or didn't get the video, but he stole someone else's video because it looked like something he saw. So he told everybody he shot this video, but it was a 10-year-old video of something he saw that looked similar. You can't do that. That's video say. You can't hearsay, video say, and pic say. Nay. That's not evidence. It's a story within a story. Why doesn't anybody see this? Look, what Grush said, powerful stuff. Powerful. Doesn't get any more powerful than what he did. What any of these guys did. But when I listen to him, and then yesterday I listened to Greer's Whistleblowers, night and day. Night and day. I look at these guys and I say, they really saw this shit. And I look at Grush and I go, he really heard this shit. It's different. It's not the same. And hearsay is not evidence. That's why they don't use it in court. But we're using it here because we are seeing the battering ram of ufology that is Grush. We had Lou break down the doors, but they fucked that up. That got all convoluted and out of control. Once Lou left TTSA, he was a rogue. Whatever. I don't have anything to say. I said it all about him. Let's see what else people are saying. But I like Herrera's testimony. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It wasn't hard to figure out. So what if he's talking in jargon that's for military? I got it. You got it. We're all in the same age group. Everybody here is 35 to 65-ish. You've heard it all. You've seen it all. You understand that jargon when it comes up in this term. It's not that hard to figure out. Mick West got into the mix too. So you know what he says? An interesting ghost story from the head of the Pentagon's UAPTF told last year, broadcast last week. Stories are very compelling when coming from a credentialed source. This does not mean they are true. Skepticism is needed. Who's that guy? Mick West. People are so messed up when it comes to Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but Mick was talking about this. So I saw the video and I wanted to play it and make a comment about it because it plays into everything. This isn't just about ghosts. It's about getting evidence. And here we go. When I watch Skinwalker Ranch on TV, I know it. I like it. I'm sick that way. I like the show. I don't hate it. I just, it's a great story, right? But shouldn't they have had cameras to record that? I mean, they know where they're going, right? Everybody has a cell phone with a camera. Well, I don't understand. You know where you're going. Whip it out and record. So again, great story. And at least it was firsthand. He looked like he really saw something. I believe what that guy said. But just like anything else, don't you want to see it? What makes a whistleblower? First-hand accounts. That's why I'm saying Grush is the battering ram for the next two whistleblowers that have. Look, I'm going to give them another chance. I am. Because I do that. I've been here for how long? And I have to. I'm addicted. This is unbelievable what's happening. I don't care how hearsay-y it is. I'm excited to what's going to happen next. We've been waiting for this shit. How can we all be this negative and not believe him? Well, because it's hearsay. But you know what? It's leading up to something. It is. It's leading up to something. Like I said, it's a battering ram. I'm getting a little overexcited. It is. He's the battering ram. More stuff is coming. Right? Don't you believe that? Well, David Grush's Dopser cleared statement and IG complaint. I mean, you can all read that. You know, I mean, that's interesting on its own. He says he was May 22nd. He was the first government official in the history of the U.S. to file an intelligence community Inspector General whistleblower complaint on credible, detailed information he gathered as a member of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, UAPTF, on a publicly unknown Cold War for recovered and exploited physical material that had been waged under the noise floor for decades. I disclosed this evidence under oath to the ICIG, along with close colleagues of mine that found the strength to come forward to support my complaint in what we saw as an unfathomable, ethical, and constitutional dilemma. The ICIG found this testimony credible and urgent for Congress in July of 22, and a summary was immediately submitted to the Director of National Intelligence and Congressional Intelligence Committees, the HPSCI and the SSCI. I traveled to D.C. to provide closed-door testimony on the matter. Sounds like a great thing. And he says, how did I ever get myself involved with this? A question I've constantly asked myself over the last 4 years. In my professional career, and quite frankly, my entire life up to this point, I never even thought of any of this was possible or true, as I grew up with an average belief system and world outlook in the blue-collar town of Pittsburgh, PA. However, in December of 2017, I was reading the New York Times and a story caught my eye claiming a UAP program called ATIP was being run out of an office in the Pentagon I was very familiar with, and the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. I had no idea this topic was being taken so seriously by the department, as I had given very little thoughts on UFOs or so-called ETs in my entire adult life. Furthermore, I was formally educated in physics and astronomy, and considered myself a very black and white intelligence officer requiring substantial empirical data to make high confidence assessments, meaning he needs evidence. Even after reading that article in 2017 and performing a public domain literature review, I was skeptical. This sounded to me as probably misidentified near-peer adversarial technology and observer bias. Nice. Well, while working at the NRO, National Reconnaissance Office, in their operations center as the USAF military reservist, I was asked by my boss if I'd like to be their representative for the newly formed Navy-led UAPTF. I agreed to join, hopefully to confirm a negative, to prove this was all misidentification, witness error, or flight of fantasy. But once I started digging, interviewing witnesses, asking senior government mentors of mine what was really going on here, unexpected doors started to open and others were brutally shut in my face. Many powerful officials were unhappy. I was asking these questions. Man. Wow. I never read that whole thing. So he was curious after he saw that there were vehicles, off-world vehicles. Remember that day? And then the next day they retracted it. Too late. Sorry. So sad. Roswell Part 2. We lived through Roswell Part 2. That was it that day. Believe it or not. That's why I keep saying it's just wrapped up in a new package with a different bow and a new gifter. Right? Isn't that all it is? Do you really believe we're on the... Because I've never seen it like this before. I've never seen it like this before. Whistleblower after whistleblower. If it keeps it up, because remember, after they got the office, the Arrow office, everybody was quiet for a year. 11 months to be exact. And then they had the congressional hearing, and we've been off and running since. So it's been a nice last year, I have to admit. And especially these 6 months this year. It's supposed to be the year. Isn't this great? Seriously, aren't you happy? Nah, we don't have any evidence, but so what? We're talking. Well, I am. But we're talking about it. It's a discussion. And that's what they want. They want it to be a discussion around the dinner table on the 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, and so on. Why'd you have to go with Christmas before Hanukkah? You know, Hanukkah comes before Christmas. Racist. That's one of my haters, Stephen Scambian from Lie Seekers. All right. I'm going to switch the topic for a minute here and talk about this kid and the aliens real quick. Those, because they're still talking about it. Wow. Hold on a second. Is this, what am I looking at here? It's supposed to be Michael Shermer. All right, I guess this is it, but incredible cell phone video catches every moment leading up to and right after alien encounter. In an event that surely proves extraterrestrial life exists, an incredible cell phone video has caught every moment leading up to it, then immediately following an alien encounter. The 100% convincing, grainy footage of a blurry yet obvious alien spacecraft falling from the sky has spread across the internet, thus ending any debate on whether we are alone in the universe. What? That's not proof. Additionally, a group of witnesses with expensive video recording devices safely tucked in their pockets offered TV crews incredibly accurate verbal descriptions of the alien creatures and the otherworldly space vessel that crashed in their backyard, but has now mysteriously disappeared. The aliens were like gray, 8 or 10 feet tall, with big blue eyes and big heads, said one of the witnesses, who has said to have over 2 terabytes of detailed video footage of every mundane event of her life stored on her phone. I wish you could have seen it. When one witness was asked why he didn't take video of the life-changing visitation, he explained how the aliens took his phone after they were done probing him. The witnesses appear to be telling the truth, reported Tucker Carlson in response to the news of an alien encounter. Therefore, it must be true. At publishing time, a recently discovered cell phone video had surfaced showing evidence of a zombie-like creature roaming the halls of the White House. This little girl was just looking at clothes and Barbies. Oh, that's a commercial. Sorry. That was something else. Sorry. So, that is, there's supposedly a video. Right? I'll look for it. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play an interview with Tim Burchett from Third Phase of Moon. They were down there yesterday at the NPC with Greer and got a one-on-one with Tim Burchett. How the hell you like them apples? Scambian? What a great congressman this is. All right, take a seat, grab some popcorn for about 9-10 minutes. And let's take a look at Third Phase of Moon interviewing Tim Burchett at the NPC yesterday.
Ricky brought forth like multiple whistleblowers. A lot of these whistleblowers are again first-hand witness. He's dropped about like 8 terabytes of information. I'm sure. Did you get the hard drive from his thing? Because there's a lot of information. Like
I don't think so.
Again, the code names, the locations, the names of the people.
Right.
And again, he's bringing forth. And we interviewed a lot of these guys. They're very emotional, and from what they're. Yeah,
compelling.
They're compelling, absolutely, and they're real-ranking military officials.
This
So.
is y'all right here.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, man. God bless you guys. Keep it up. Let's get it.
Let's get it, Tim.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Through the security gates, National Press Club, it's happening. The world event, things are going to go down, let me tell you, and this is the place to showcase it to the world. Big times, big news. Is this the time? I think it is, and people are gathering in. We're moments away from this historic conference, the National Press Club, and let me tell you, we got a lot of people coming in. So we're in DC right now, National Press Club. The main event is about to go down. Greer Whistleblowers, Michael Schratt's with us. Man, this is exciting times, what's going on. So what are we going to expect in this National Press Club? I know for a couple days we've been covering some of the stuff with Greer's event, but this is going to the world right now.
Sure. Well, Dr. Greer's witnesses will be articulating their activities, what they saw. We will be presenting the drawings and the illustrations to back it up, and we've got first-hand witnesses.
Right. You know, they're coming forward for the first time, and that's important. It takes a lot of guts. We've spoken to a few of them this past couple days, but the emotion and kind of the risk they're taking, now's the time, right?
Now is the time. I mean, you can feel the energy. You can feel that everybody's coming together as a united coalition.
This united coalition, is the government going to get involved? Do we have some insiders right now that's kind of following this closely, undercover maybe?
Everybody's free to come here and watch online, so we will have some interesting people.
All right, Michael, man,
Yep.
you're going to be up on stage, and you've been doing some great work. We'll catch up with you soon.
Sounds
right?
good.
Okay, so this National Press Club, this is important times right now. If we're not doing this, and if we're not doing this in this time in history, it's not going to get done. So we've got to get done right away. Okay, so the historical National Press Club, everybody's making it in at the moment. I think we're about, 30 minutes out from it, but people are gathering. And this is historic. We've never been in this building. It's the first time for Michael, but we've seen it, over 20 years ago.
Right, May 9th, 2001 is where it all went down here.
May 19th, 2001.
May 9th, 2001, yep.
So this is kind of like a repetition of history. The event that Greer held, the disclosure event at the National Press Club, was actually one of the biggest events in internet history. Mm-hmm. And now we might repeat the same thing. This is something big, but as we see, people are gathering in.
Got the major media cameras all plugged up, ready to go. We're pretty much about an hour and a half away, so we got a pretty good size stage. It's going to be a pretty awesome show tonight.
So the event is about to begin. We have about a few minutes until it starts, but wow, what a historic time. Let's go take a look, come on. So again, historic times, and let me tell you, from what we've been hearing from the whistleblowers and the documentary we're going to be putting out here in regards to everything going on in Washington, D.C. is going to be happening. Let's bring you around. We got James C. Goodall. Are you ready for disclosure?
I've always been ready.
This is the time, right?
Yep, this is the time.
We got legend James C. Goodall along with Michael Schratz here, but tell everybody how things are going over the past few days.
It's going fantastic, and I'm just delighted with Michael and the presentation and the whole operation. Hopefully it bears fruit.
Very transparent, and we're recommending that you'll hear what our recommendations are for the President and Congress to resolve this crisis. Next. So I wanted to mention that these bases, if you look at them,
there is this power and there's people in control. If we don't fix this ourselves, is there going to be any kind of intervention from up there if we continue to destroy the earth as we are?
I think that there are two clocks ticking. One is operations within the constitutional government of the United States that are not going to put up with this any further.
Tell me, how was it today at the National Press Club? What did you learn?
Well, I thought it was very interesting hearing all the witnesses' cases. It was very detailed today. It was a little different than the rest of the event because, they just very clearly laid out all the points they had in their cases, and I thought it was really interesting because it was all military whistleblowers. Like, you don't normally see that all the time, so I thought that was really cool to see what, they had to say, and the diagrams that were really well done by Michael Schratz. And the room was full. It looked like there was a lot of press there. I mean, the room was completely filled, and after we actually had someone come up to us and say that this was the longest press conference they'd ever seen taking place there, and they've been going there for years. So I thought that was very interesting. But I think Greer did a really great job with presenting the information and bringing the witnesses up, and the call to the action at the end was probably the most important part, in my opinion. I think that was all very well done.
Busy day. National Press Club just got over. We got the interview with Tim Burchett. The world is a different place now, and it's been very exciting. We're going to be giving more updates in regards to what's been happening. It's happening, and it's big. Everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. Blake Cousins, along with the crew, be safe. We'll see you next time.
That was fun. At least we got to see what it looked like, right? I thought the interview was going to be a little more than what we saw. But I think I know what happened. There is an interview that they did, but that's probably going to be for something else, maybe a documentary or another video or some collaboration with something else. But I think that might have been what happened. I'm not sure. But that would make sense. You don't take time with someone like a congressperson, and not get an interview. I mean, they sat down, had camera ready here, and they were off and running. There'll be an interview somewhere that we'll see. But that was better than I thought. I thought it was just going to be an interview. It was a little history going through the ins and outs of the NPC. I thought it was cool, man. I was supposed to be there. But if I wasn't there, we would not have had the incredible week we had, 2 days we had here. See how God and the universe really takes care of the good people in this planet, on this planet. You know what I mean? You just have to ask the universe. Imagine it. You can create shit. I'm not lying. You like how I do this now? I tell you where all my thoughts and my visions are coming from and what I hear. I don't know why I started doing that. I got to stop doing that. I gotta show you this version of the Crop Circle song. It's funny, Ben, that you brought it up, because I forgot that I had this version that I pulled up today. Not everybody's seen this. This is a surprise version of the Crop Circle song. Here we go. And everybody who was here 2 years ago saw it. This is the very first time this has ever happened on Paranormal Radio, just so you know.
Well, I hope it's I'm going to have a good time. I hope people enjoy.
Oh yeah, I'm having a great time, man. This is history.
Everybody out there? Anybody out there? Hello.
I miss my old studio.
What are they?
What are they?
Why are they?
Why are they?
Do they mean? What are they? Why are they? Do they mean? Do they mean?
Come on, everybody!
Are they harbingers of world
Change
these secrets in the field?
in the field.
Are they harbingers of world
Change.
these secrets in
This is when we still had to wear masks, remember?
field? Are they harbingers of world change? These secrets in the fields, secrets in the field, secrets in the field.
We just lost 20 people. I know, you guys need the real version. That's the problem. Here's the real Jesus, that was the fast version. You want to see the difference? This is for the Goofonians who've been around for 3 years. They know this song. It's the Crop Circle song. How do you not know it?
What are they? Why are they? What do they mean? What are they? Why are they? What do they mean?
What are they, everybody?
Are they harbingers of world change?
All right, that's enough. The new people don't like it. They don't like it. Nobody likes it. The new people don't like it. So we don't play it because the new people don't like it. I respect that. I don't want the new people to hate Goof on all of a sudden. We have a lot. We do things differently here. All right, we have a little fun. It's a 2-hour show, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday. So, it's hard to come up with good stuff every night by myself. Trying my best. Did I miss Super Chats? Oh, I did. Oh, no. I didn't see these. Matt, 2112 for $5 says, do you think any of this validates Bib Lazar? No, but it may validate Bob Lazar. I'm joking, Matt. Sorry, I didn't get to this 45 minutes ago when you posted it, but if you're still here, Matt, no. Because Bob Lazar is his own. Does it validate what he said? No. And yes, I already know, and we all know UFOs exist. They've attacked us in Vietnam. Von Helton, we all know Von Helton said it. We all know the story of the Vietnam UFOs and other stuff. And the crashed retrievals, there's 127 crashed UFOs for some reason, because we can intercept their signal with our radar somehow. I don't know. We jam them up. It's this ancient technology that the aliens didn't expect when they got here. So, boom, we just aim the satellite at the freaking things and we zap them, take them down. It confuses them. That's the idea. If you believe that, then you can believe in 127 crashed UFOs since 1890. That's a lot of UFOs. Did you know the statistics of crashed UFOs sort of mirror how many commercial planes go down every year? It's like every 3 years there's a crashed UFO. Every 3 years there's an airliner going down. Pretty weird, isn't it? I'm not saying there's a connection between the crashes. I'm just saying maybe the UFOs get knocked down by the same thing that took the planes down. I'm just saying. Matt, thank you very much for the 5 bones. Shane Davies, hey man, how you doing? Good to see you. For $2, you have 2 of them here. If he can prove we have our own tech, he gets it. Of course. And you put that down about 20 minutes ago, 30. So we were talking about that. Yeah. If he can, you're right, Shane. And then you said, for another £2, 2 quid, thank you. Prove the tech first. That's what we were talking about. And then release background information on the aliens and the UFOs. Yes. That's how you do disclosure. You don't just whip out an alien and throw it on the TV. My way of having disclosure is similar. Shane, thank you very much for the super chats. $5 total. $4, whatever. Thank you. Mucho gusto, generoso. I think the way you do disclosure, we're doing it. This is how you started out. It's almost exactly how I said, but I'm talking once we get to the alien. Erase that. Can we erase that? When we get to the part of this game that we're playing where we open up Pandora's box and now you can't close it. That's why we got hearsay on extremely specific stuff they can't prove. You know why, right? That's how they condition us. He's the first battering ram. Lou was the first battering ram. Boom. If you really want to get technical, Tom DeLonge, boom. Lou Elizondo, bam. Right? And then we rode Lou for a little while. And then after that, it was just, who's next? Well, we found now who the next guy is. We heard about him before. See, I did it again. Stop touching yourself. We did that before. I heard Grush's name, but I put it out of my mouth and my mind because there was no reason to think about him. Heard of him. Now we know. So they batter us with this guy. Now we're talking. Lou said not specifically in an interview, many, do we have alien technology or UFOs in our possession? I cannot confirm or deny it, but I would imagine so. I'm paraphrasing that Lou said something to that effect. So we're hearing it repeated and repeated and sink in and sink in and sink in and sink in. And that's how you condition the public. It's not just a 5-year plan. It's a couple of generations. What you need to do is get the public behind whatever it is you're doing. So they started off with the threat. People hated that, but it worked. We talked to people in Santa Monica a few years ago and asked them, do you know what a UAP is? And they said, and the conversation got to, are we being attacked by aliens? So the threat worked, but it hit the public in a way that it put fear into them. Not real fear, but the possibility of a fear. And that's a bad seed to plant on the public, if you ask me. But they had no choice. They had to make it about fear and the threat so they can get the funding for Arrow. They got that. We didn't hear anything from anybody for almost a year, and now part 2 or 3. So that's where we're at. And Greer, just by coincidence, I mean, he had this planned a long time, but it's interesting how News Nation played more of David Grush's interview the day before. So who's riding whose coattail? If you ask me, News Nation is riding Greer's coattail, but they're riding each other now. So nobody cares. Greer doesn't give a shit. He put that time down that day. It's been that way for months, probably a year. He had that. Nobody knew Grush was coming out that day last week. And I hear everybody, Greer is just riding the coattails. No. They planned it around Greer. Don't you get it? News Nation knew they could bookend Greer. So they did it a week before Greer's Disclosure Project 2.0, and they did it the day before. Pretty smart. But News Nation didn't plan that. The government did. News Nation did not plan that. The government did. I'll say it again. News Nation didn't plan it. The government did. How do I know? Because come on. Isn't it obvious? I'll play that Crop Circle song again. I'll play the live version. I'll really put you guys in a mood. I'm not going to do that to you. We've been playing the Crop Circle song for 3+ years, and we used to love it. Some people love it so much, they downloaded it, and it's in their... I'm sorry, that was me who downloaded it. It's in my... I like the song, but I like it. Michael from Dark Hour Paranormal did a heavy metal version of that. All right. Dolan is the biggest fraud you can imagine. This is a guy who promoted a dead whistleblower, if you know the story. This is the guy who hasn't given anything to ufology. What has Richard Dolan done? And now you got to hear what he said about Grush's story. This is Dolan. This is the biggest dickhead on the planet. Yeah. Oh, it's Jimmy Church. Yeah, I can play it. It's only a minute long. I'll cut it down to a few seconds.
So I read his autobiography years ago, and he has all these spiritual experiences he's talked about. He levitated when he was like, 17?
Oh, he's talking about Greer. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. My bad. Richard Dolan, mother, the hell? Richard Greer. Richard Dolan is talking about Dr. Greer and how he read his autobiography and how he said he levitated when he was a kid and had aliens in his head. And that's what we are jumping into, that part of the conversation. So listen to how Dolan, who's done absolutely nothing, what has he done? What has Richard Dolan brought to the UFO community except for listening to him talk? I don't see him doing any UFO hunts, ghost hunts, and research. This guy's a bookworm. All he does is read and internet search shit. He hasn't done anything in 20 years. Why do we still listen to him? You got me.
Called in the wasn't it the 1973 wave of sightings? Like that was him because he was just too awesome and he didn't realize his powers were so great. He brought them in. This is literally what he says. And
Right.
he prevented George Bush Sr. from being assassinated somehow. He spoke with Bill Clinton on the astral somehow. Like he did all of these superhero things. And that gives him this insight into all of the extraterrestrial species. I mean, like, can we just call BS on this? Are we allowed to do this at this point in time? Because I am. I don't believe a word of that. And so, you know, how does he know that these species are all good?
Richard Dolan, a man who promotes hoaxing. And Richard Dolan struck my channel when I had permission to play a video he was in. Unbelievable. Tried 2 strikes, but it didn't work, did it? Yeah, him and I forget that girl. What was her name? Darcy? Darcy Weirdo? What was her name? Yeah, both of them got together. I heard they were an item now. Yeah, this Darcy Weir girl and Richard Dolan. I don't know. Is Richard Dolan still married to, what's her name, Christy? Scott Blight? Holy mother. That's $21. And that's a super dono. That's pure love. Yeah, it's a donation with no comment or emoji sticker. We call them donos. It's a donation, a dono. It's beautiful. It's all love. Scott Blight, thank you very much. That's 21 Canadian, not Californian. Thank you, Scott. That's unreal. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I don't know what I was going to say. Mucho gusto, a continuing supporter of Goof On as well. Also, Alfie Joe Bob just threw down $15 on PayPal as well. Thank you, my friend, for another PayPal support. You know, I'm glad you told me it was you because I could, when you just put your name in there, I'm like, I can't remember everything sometimes. I'm like, who's this? But thank you for saying that, Alfie Joe Bob. Mucho gusto generoso. Thanks for the support, guys. And it all goes back into the kitty. What is this? Is this no. I got more to go. What is that? Oh, Grush is connected to Crazy Boss. This is from Green Street. I got to see this. What is this from? Oh, Skinwalker Ranch connection. So let me put this up. I got to talk about this. I love this field because it is so split. It's so split. There's one side that believes everything, and then there's another side that's demanding evidence and believes barely anything. I'm on that side, although I believe in UFOs and aliens, but I don't believe what I'm hearing yet. Don't you need evidence? Isn't that what we all want? God, I don't understand why people think just having the conversation is evidence. It's not. It's a conversation. People are frustrated now after this week. these last two. People are very frustrated. This is a strange time. UFO whistleblower, says Stephen Greenstreet, is connected to crazy Pentagon officials who claim werewolf encounters poltergeist hauntings. This is part 3. Last week, David Grush's former boss went on national television and revealed personal encounters with Skinwalker Ranch ghosts, but no one in the media noticed. Oh, here's part 1 and 2. I was an intelligence officer on the UAP task force. David Grush says he learned the government is hiding alien spacecraft and alien bodies after joining the Pentagon's UAP task force. The most earth-shattering of those secrets, he claims, were revealed after 2019 when he was invited to join the UAPT, the task force. To anyone paying attention to this story, so definitely not the news media, it should come to no surprise that Grush would hear wild stories while at the UAPTF. That's what I said. Of course he heard some strange stories. If don't want to read this entire tweet, the claims of aliens, ghosts, and werewolves from Grush's UAPTF associates are all revealed in my exclusive New York Post report here, okay? The chief scientist for the UAPTF was Travis Taylor, who has appeared on over 40 episodes of Ancient Aliens and is currently chasing paranormal spooky things at Skinwalker Ranch. Taylor proclaims himself an expert on the ancient astronaut theory, which says aliens, not God or evolution, created humans. Taylor also thinks a malevolent non-human intelligence is traveling through an interdimensional wormhole over Skinwalker Ranch and harming human beings, including himself. He also claims a Skinwalker poltergeist cut off one of his chickens' heads. I'm not kidding. My exclusive New York Post investigative documentary reveals all this. Here's a 2-minute clip from that documentary, including Travis Taylor. I'm going to click it. Is this what he's talking about?
Expert in
This is it.
space defense, asymmetric warfare, rocket science, and alien invasions.
Woo-wee! I love me Skinwalker Ranch. I mean Cash.
This is Travis Taylor. He doesn't like me very much, and he was not present when I visited Skinwalker Ranch. But he's arguably the star of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch on the History Channel. So let's get to know him.
There's something glowing in the sky. Let's go talk to it.
Taylor has multiple science degrees from multiple universities. His 2 PhDs are in optical science and aerospace engineering. Throughout his career, he's worked on various programs for the Department of Defense, including the U.S. Army's Space and Missile Defense Command. He's also an avid storyteller, the author of 19 science fiction books with titles like One Day on Mars, Human by Choice, and Bringers of Hell. And for the last 13 years, he's appeared on multiple TV shows. He starred in Rocket City Rednecks, a reality show where self-described rednecks do various science experiments.
Absolutely he did.
In one episode, they build a rocket powered by moonshine.
He and it.
More recently, Taylor is known for his appearance in almost 40 episodes of Ancient Aliens.
Wow.
A show which promotes the pseudoscientific idea that humans were created by aliens, or descended from aliens, or something like that. Taylor says he's been an expert on the Ancient Aliens theory since he was 10 years old. A small sample of Taylor's other paranormal claims include a personal encounter with a Native American ghost.
A native walked into my bedroom, a really old native,
who he says touched him and cut his face.
So when I looked in the mirror, I was bleeding from that spot.
And also a story about how the Skinwalker poltergeist decapitated one of his chickens.
I had like an electromagnetic
yes,
on my
Paul.
chicken house and decapitated chicken.
Back in 2019, while filming season 1 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch,
Someday.
Taylor says he went to the Pentagon to brief some curious officials about what he was seeing on the ranch.
Someday, I'm going to go to Black Frog Ranch and meet one of my haters. Yeah, it's coming.
And it was there, he says, that
A Blind Frog Ranch, whatever the hell you
he
call it.
met Jay Stratton for the first time.
Jay Stratton. He's a nice guy. I like Jay Stratton. But he's on that Travis Taylor, Gary P. Nolan, Brandon Fugel side of ufology that I have a very hard time with. Back to the, I shut off the tweet. Yeah, this is weird. Every time I switch to put something up here, my screen freezes for me. I don't know if it's freezing on your end. But Taylor is really the tip of the iceberg here. I'm right here. Jay Stratton is a man behind the curtain regarding most of the UFO stuff coming out in the last 5 years. Did you know that? Stratton, the director of UAPTF, was David Grush's boss, 2019. Here's a 2-minute clip from his documentary introducing the basics about Jay Stratton. And this is important, we're watching this. We need to understand.
This is Jay Stratton. He was a naval intelligence officer who, over the course of 30 years, held many positions in the Department of Defense. Many don't know his name because he's only just recently retired and made his first public appearances. But while in the government, Stratton was involved with UFOs in Skinwalker Ranch for at least 15 years. Back in 2007, Stratton says he read the book Hunt for the Skinwalker along with his co-worker James Lakatsky at the Defense Intelligence Agency. Our previous report debunks many aspects of this book, which contains many spooky stories, but provides no evidence at all to back up any of its claims. Despite this, both Stratton and Lakatsky were fascinated by the book and its stories of UFOs, ghosts, and monsters. Lakatsky lobbied Senator Harry Reid to acquire $22 million to study UFOs in Skinwalker Ranch. Lakatsky was the director of this study, a program called OSAP, and
Wait a second. The narrator is Stephen Greenstreet. You joking with me? I know. I shouldn't read the chat room. I'm sorry.
Stratton was a lead investigator. In Lakatsky's self-published book about OSAP, he refers to Stratton with a pseudonym, Jonathan Axelrod. But it's now been confirmed to me by multiple sources that Axelrod is Stratton. The book says Stratton first went to Skinwalker Ranch in 2009, and while there, he became possessed, or infected, with a poltergeist, and that it followed him home and tormented his family.
You mean to tell me, after all of the paranormal places I visited and the Ouija board sessions, never mind. He may be telling the truth after all.
Following is a partial list of what Stratton reportedly encountered. A huge wolf-like creature, screaming black shadowy humanoid, nightmarish dogmen, dark humanoid creatures. Even after OSAP was shut down in 2012, Stratton continued his pursuit of the paranormal, utilizing his position at the Pentagon to move the needle. It's reported that Stratton used his clout to create an official UFO task force within the Pentagon. He would then become the director of this task force. And that brings us back to Stratton's 2019 meeting with Travis Taylor.
Interesting. Whoops. I accidentally got away from it again. See, it pauses every time. Pauses every time right there. All right. So, I see the chat room. It's kind of mixed in there. I see a lot of people, a few people who don't like what they're seeing, don't believe in these people. Let me tell you something. I don't understand how any of these people can be in the positions they're at and be taken seriously with what I've seen. So far, with the Skinwalker Ranch, it's been weak. Yes, there's some interesting things that happen there, but it's made for TV. So I don't know if it's being manufactured or if it's being manufactured from the actual ranch itself. I don't see a lot of evidence, and I hear all bad things, like nothing happens over there from many people. Jay Cyrno saying the hands down the best UFO show. Isn't it though? I think so. Right here. I had to put that up there for tonight because we are the #1 show. Right here. Thank you, Jay Cyrno. Hope I said your name right. I always say that, don't I? Thanks for the continuing support, by the way. Let's get back to this. And thanks again for that. That was nice of you. Stratton first went to Skinwalker in 2009. All right, don't need that. During his Skinwalker visit, he claimed he saw a Scoopy ghost figure. Paralyzed by fear, he became possessed, infected. Stratton claims the evil non-human intelligence followed him home and stalks and tortures him and his family to this day. So why aren't we getting evidence of that? And why isn't it being posted on the internet if this guy's so gosh darn credible? Travis Taylor claims the non-evil human intelligence infected Stratton's neighbor with the dangerous form of oh, you gotta be kidding me. It infected his neighbor with cancer. At one point, Stratton claims this evil entity manifested itself as a wolf creature walking on 2 legs outside his Maryland home. The werewolf was standing outside one night, leaning up against a tree, its arms crossed, staring back at Stratton's wife, looking like it wanted her. It wanted to eat her, and not in the way that I do. What? Who said that? This person was the director of the Pentagon's UAP task force, tasked with identifying things like Chinese spy balloons. But surprisingly, Stratton and Grush task force only saw UFOs and consequently missed foreign spy craft for years. The Biden administration was able to go back and retroactively identify some of the UAPTF's UFOs as foreign spy craft. And this is all revealed in detail here. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Stratton returned to Skinwalker Ranch on the History Channel 6 days ago. On the show, he retells his 2009 story about being paralyzed by fear, being unable to cross a shadow on the ground, and then seeing a spooky, dark ghost figure. Oh, brother. I haven't seen anyone else in the news media even notice this, he says. The former head of the Pentagon's UAP task force that missed foreign spy craft for years, that was the boss to UFO whistleblower David Grush, that claims poltergeists and werewolves haunt him, was on TV just 6 days ago and no one really noticed or cared. I didn't notice. My guess is because the media has no idea who Stratton is or how any of this is connected to the UFO story, because the media is lazy, clueless, and inept at covering UFOs. That's true. That's true. I spoke with a Pentagon source who worked with Stratton and UAPTF. They described Stratton as a total nut job who would talk about the Wolfman stalking his house and other spooky stories stemming from Skinwalker Ranch. They say Stratton's UAPTF was mostly completely waste of money. This source, along with others, protested to Pentagon leadership about their crazy boss. We had to go to leadership and tell them we're done with this shit, the source said. Soon after, Stratton was replaced at UAPTF and then he retired in 2022. So now that you know the full story, which you won't get from the other news agencies, ask yourself, is it any wonder David Grush, who was on the UAPTF for many years, heard a litany of wacky sci-fi stories while at UAPTF? The truth is stranger than fiction. He says, I might release a part 4, but it involves a lot of things I'm currently chasing and piecing together, so I might save it all for a future episode of The Basement Office. Until then, catch up on the previous episodes here. All right. Well, you know, he's right. Nobody said it better than that. That's who Grush got his stories from. Throw in Elizondo. Throw in Greer. Throw in Corbell in his ear. And you've got the interview of the year. So, how can you sit there and be upset with me for not believing a hearsay story? How? How? Get mad at yourself. Don't get mad at me, get mad at them. I'm just reporting what I think I'm seeing, and I'm not seeing a lot of evidence, and we need evidence. But I'm going to play something from yesterday's disclosure with Greer. The third story of the day. Hold on. DC Long, U.S. Army, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. DC Long is the guy I'm going to play. This is a good one. And you know what was real interesting about Greer's whole thing? The guy who had that brain injury had the best story. We talked about it yesterday. So if you want to go back and watch yesterday's show, somewhere in the middle, you can see us talking about it. I don't want to repeat anything that we did yesterday or the day before. So I'm going to show the third whistleblower from Greer's Disclosure Project yesterday, because this is a good story. This is amazing. And it kind of got overshadowed by, I don't know what, that other guy's story. But we need to hear this. This is a good story.
I promise mine's going to be much quicker than some of these other guys.
Remember this guy?
This is the way I talk. So I apologize for that as well. Everyone that I've met here, I would love to go through every name. I would love to go through every situation. What these gentlemen have, we could spend years talking about it, just getting to all the moments and everything that meant the most to us. And unfortunately, I have a very short amount of time to do that. My military service began in 1997 and it stretched to 2013 until I was medically retired, injuries received in a combat jump. Ironically enough, the quick story that I'm going to tell you guys has virtually nothing to do with my military career until it got to the very end of the story. Long story short, my father grew up as a contractor. That was his entire life. He could build anything with his hands. He could tear it down and build it again for you.
That's why Mom liked him.
And the only reason I bring him up is because my father is how I got tied into this story. As a government contractor on Fort Bragg, he met some people. He got friends with some people in the upper echelons in the military, the tip of the spear. The guys who didn't need the Army Corps of Engineers permission to build anything that they wanted. These people that I met when I was 13 years old.
Cylon Killer. That's what is interesting about this. You got it. Thank you so much for saying that. I couldn't find the words.
We would go on hunts together. We would go on fishing trips together, riding their planes. They would take us all over the continental U.S. just to enjoy their time together. People that I thought were my friends, that I didn't know that they were in the military until years after I had been in myself. We meet up at 18th Airborne Headquarters by my father's request from me. He asked me if I could help him assist. We didn't know where the project was. We were told that we were going to be met by an escort from the JFK Warfare Center. He shows up. I recognize him as one of my father's friends. I overheard that the place we're going to be going is Range 19. I'd never heard of this place before, hadn't since. They put us in a van, no windows, no protection to the front. So we were joking, what did you say? Because we're taking you to Leavenworth. We show up at Range 19. The only thing that was directly in front of me looked like a bunker, 45 degree inches from a concrete bunker, covered in trash. Looked like an actual dump. We open up, there's another escort, and they're waiting on us. They take us to a freight elevator. We take the elevator down. At that time, we were instructed, keep your heads down, keep your eyes on the heels of the men in front of you, or you'll be fired upon. I've heard plenty of instances of military jargon. People like to jibe each other. I didn't take it as a joke, but I knew enough to just do what he told me to. I didn't want to risk it. As soon as the freight elevator opened, the first thing that I could see were a few personnel connexes to the right in a large hangar, maybe twice, 3 times the size of the area that we're in now. There was a monolithic slab directly in front of me that was being held up by nothing. The closer that I got to this slab, I felt an intense vibration inside of my body. I never felt anything like that before in my life, never anything since, but it left no sound. The loudest thing in that room was the silence and the footfalls of the people in front of and behind me. As I got closer, my natural southern curiosity took over. Oh, my shoes are untied. So I go down just to take a peek. And there's absolutely nothing up underneath this monolithic slab that, if I had to estimate, would be well over 100 tons. Absolutely nothing holding it up. You can see by the picture, there's another boulder directly behind it. It was flat on the ground. There were two other people beside it. I could only see heels and feet. To the right, you could see what looked like a boulder. And all three of these that I could tell had this box on top that was black with spires that came off, and I couldn't tell where it was connected, but it obviously had something to do with the levitation. The one to the right was being spun by the personnel that you could see in the picture. At this point, from my knees, the escort needed me in the back, said, let's go. We follow on, go downstairs to our appointed place to take measurements for an underground firing facility for a live fire range. Excuse me. When it was all said and done, less than 15, 20 minutes later, we make our way back to the surface through the same hangar that we had noticed the monolithic slabs and the boulders. And there was absolutely nothing there. There was no noise for anyone taking anything out. It was one flight down to our appointed place, but you could still hear that there was nothing going on in the facility that we were in. We make our way out. We get back in the van, and they take us back to 18th Airborne Headquarters so we can retrieve our telephones, our IDs. Something was said to my father, and they retrieved all of the notes that were taken. Everything that he had that he recorded from whenever we were downstairs, they took it from him. I didn't think much of it. I go back upstairs, help him wrap up in the G5 war room. And it was at that time there was a gentleman sitting at the desk. Everyone was cleared out. And he had two pieces of paper. Said, I need you to sign this NDA. Absolutely not. You know, we didn't so much take it as a joke, but we just didn't feel like the things that we had witnessed, although I did realize it was something that I never should have seen in my life. We weren't going to sign it. Didn't think anything of it. I leave. I get a call the next day, less than 24 hours later. Hey, man, you need to come down. We're trying to go to work, and everything's locked up. Everything's gone. Everything that my father had worked for, from the time that I was a child until I became a man, became a soldier, and the company that had my name on it, everything was seized. Absolutely everything was seized. The pencils that he would use to make bid submittals to the Army Corps of Engineers was even taken because it contributed from the business. Everything was taken. I can't illustrate that point enough. My father went from being a very humble millionaire to absolutely broke, bankrupt, and destitute in 24 hours. Now, I wish I could tell you more about how much I love this man, not just because I have his name, not just because he's my father, but he was my best friend. He led me through every battle when I came home to let me know that it was okay to feel the things that I felt. This man and I, we were always together. The only thing that could separate us was the deployments and the uniform that I wore. When I got done with my fight, I found my father. When I was scared, I found my father, etc. This man that was my best friend looked me in the eye when I found him again and said, hey man, do you think this had something to do with Range 19? Please pardon my language. My father looks at me and says, don't you ever fucking bring that up to me again. That was the last time that I heard my father's voice in this life. That was the last time that we ever had any peaceful interaction, and that was as peaceful as it got. Shortly after, I continued on, and we had a JFEX. Any of my old paratroopers, they know what that is. It's a jump field training exercise, battalion wide. It's a big deal. There's only 12 men in my stick getting ready to go out of the bird. I'm the first man looking at the horizon, waiting for the jump master to give me the signal. His hand's raised. I notice at the right side, someone coming up to my shoulder, and it's one of the escorts, one of the men that I knew personally from the time I was a child till I was a man and a soldier. He hooks up, he looks at me, gives me a wink. I didn't think much of it. To me, there was no danger at that point. Green light goes off, I get a hit in my back, and then something hits me in the side of the face, and it's a static line. The gentleman to my right, the man that I knew, threw his static line intentionally, and it snapped my neck. I go to fall out of the aircraft, deploy my combat pack, full oscillation. The only thing that I heard after that was the sound that my body made when it broke. When I woke up a month later, I was told that I was not fit to be a Ranger. I was not fit to be airborne. I wasn't fit to be a soldier. My career was effectively over. Even throughout all this time, I could not reach out to my father. He wouldn't take my calls. He was homeless. I didn't know. I just thought he didn't want to talk to me. Eventually, I ended up in the same situation. This follows further down the road to about 2 years ago, whenever I finally was saved by someone who I didn't even deserve to hear the sound of their voice. I intentionally grown my hair past my shoulders, my beard down to my stomach. I was 135 pounds just because I was hoping I could hide. I was hoping I could get away from what put me in that position to begin with. I get a phone call. It was 2 years ago. We found Daddy. He's in the hospital. I go down to see my father. He couldn't speak. The man that was 6'4", 240 pounds, a superhero in my eyes, not just because he was my daddy, because he was a tough son of a bitch. He was laying in a hospital bed, 98 pounds. When the people who I encountered after the fact that had actually spent time, excuse me, and got my father out of his homeless situation to help him get back on his feet, to give him the drive, to get back to doing the only thing that he knew how to do was to be a government contractor, they put him back in contact with some of the people that he thought could help him. I can't illustrate this fact enough. In the time span of 3 months, my father went from 6'4", 240 to 98 pounds, dying in a hospital room, and he couldn't even speak because the chemo was burning his lips. I told him, I love you. Don't worry about us. We're square. I want to make you proud. Before Dr. Greer and I came in contact with each other, and I'm almost done, I wrote my story, and I entitled it, I'm Afraid to Say. And people have asked me, well, why did you wait so long? I mean, it's obvious why we waited so long to send it. Nobody knows this. My family doesn't know this. Dr. Greer obviously doesn't know this. When I sent that, I was planning on taking my life because they took every damn thing from me. I could handle losing my career. I was willing to die for my country. I was hoping like hell I would. Somehow I survived. And then they tried to take me again. They can have all that. I knew that when I put these around my neck. But my intention was to take my own life because I just couldn't do it anymore. I heard this man's words with Sean Ryan, if good men do nothing, then evil men will prevail. I am damn tired of doing nothing. This is the absolute last thing that I'm going to say to you. I was trained to never fight. I was trained to fight, never give up, never stop, as long as you had a breath in your body. I gave my breath away. The people in this room, everyone that I've had the blessed opportunity to spend time with, I've heard you say that we're brave, that we're heroes, and it embarrasses me because I personally felt like I don't deserve to be in the room with all of you heroes, because I would not have the words and the breath to come from my body if it wasn't for the strength that you give me when you shake my hand, when you hug my neck. Thank you so much. Godspeed.
So there you have it. I know that was was a lot to ring in for this guy, but I wanted to give him that airtime one more time. I didn't remember it being that long, so sorry it went a little longer than we expected, but good conversation in the chat. It seems like we're split on this guy. I think he sounded half legit. I like the emotion. There were some parts where I'm like, why would he remember that? Like some things he said, like really small, a wink and this and that. And I'm like, I remember things like that too. You remember certain things, they stick out in your brain. And because they're so powerful, you won't forget it. He remembered a lot of details for something that you want to call a script. I think it may have been, I don't know if he's slightly embellishing it to make it sound more emotional. I don't know. He seemed believable to me. That's why I played it. I think Greer chose some good whistleblowers to bring out. I thought they were all great. They were all different. Look, we're getting the battering ram effect where they're going to keep hitting us over the head with the reboot of Superman. And they're going to keep doing it over and over until we get it in our heads that, and I don't know, what is the, isn't it something like 80% or 70% of Americans believe that aliens are here or were here or believe in UFOs? I think it's 80% now. It's really high up there. Eventually, they're going to have to start talking about the things that are flying these things, but they don't know. Remember when Lou was saying, we don't know what it is. We don't know where it comes from. We don't know if it's outer space or inner space, which was an interesting thing he said. Multiple dimensions, time travel. Take your pick. What we saw was the battering ram for possibly future disclosure. Maybe if this is the beginning, they can't stop. They can't take another year off. They have to do this every 6 months. Something like this to keep it fresh, to show us, the public, they don't give a shit because they're going to do what they want anyway. But if they really cared about what they're doing, they'll do this every 6 months and give us a little more and a little more. How many more stories are we going to get before we see evidence? A lot. But maybe 5 years, 3 years from now, it depends how fast they do this. Right now, we're still spinning the tires. We're still getting used to the effect that whistleblowers are coming out. I say disclosure is not going to happen in my lifetime. I say it all the time. This point, I don't know. I think possibly if they were to keep this up, 10 years minimum. I bet you it'll probably be around the time we get to Mars that they'll start bringing disclosure out, like in a real serious way. 10 years. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate what everybody did. Super chat, super stickers, PayPal, and Cash App. Thank you for the support. Please, okay. Oh, I did get another super PayPal. I think I know who this is. It won't open. David Wilcox. Man, you're unbelievably generous. Thank you. $25. When it comes to ufology, he says, don't think there's the smartest person in the room. True. We are all capable of knowing enough to be considered as such. Well said, actually. When it comes to ufology, I don't think there's a smartest person in the room. We are all capable of knowing enough to be considered as such. Yeah, thank you. That is true. We all can be this person. We can all have a story. We're all equal in this. That's the whole thing. A lot of us have experiences. That's why we're here. A lot of us don't want to hear the negativity. I don't even like talking negatively, but I have to be a realist sometimes, and that hurts people's feelings. I'm sorry. I don't mean it. But, you know, you got to look at things on both sides. We try to do that as much as possible. Thank you, David Wilcox, not Wilcock, for the $25. That's huge. Thank you very much on PayPal. And thank you, moderators and newcomers and veterans. Thank you for your help in the chat. Smart comments, smart stuff I saw today, and funny stuff. You guys are the best. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll do it again. I may have a guest tomorrow night in the next few days, so keep an eye open for that. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. We do Truthology. Truthology for ufology. That's what we do. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. And thanks for hanging out. I appreciate the new subscribers and the veterans. Thank you for everything. And best moderators on the internet, actually. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Be kind, be safe, and alien bless you.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
Control life. Warning. Warning. Failure. Control life. Warning.
Unidentified flying object.